What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have made a handful of videos in the past about this title here, but I had to go ahead and make another one because I feel like this game still doesn't get the respect nor the love that it honestly deserves, and that is Insurgency Sandstorm. I tell pretty much everybody out there who enjoys Call of Duty, at least the old school style of Call of Duty, that this is the game to always give a shot, especially if you're tired with how current day Call of Duty is. And I understand, even though honestly, I kind of enjoy it, but current day COD is nothing like OG COD, and I don't think we're ever going to get those days ever again. I know people want to really, hope for OG, style to return, but we got to be real here. The community has evolved. They want a faster styled game. And every single time that they have brought to us something that is a little bit more slower and something like an OG title, it just doesn't, sit well with the community. People want very cracked out movement. So, it's rough for very OG style fans, people who enjoyed games like Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. Treyarch games were always a little bit more fast paced, but even games like Black Ops 1, World at War, Black Ops 2 was the most fast paced out of the bunch. But even, like I said, World at War and Black Ops 1 had their moments where it was a bit more, toned back compared to something like Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops Cold War, Modern Warfare 2019, where you're constantly slide canceling, you always have tac sprint, you can be hot 50,000 times, the ways that you can move in newer gen COD is way different. And like I said, for everybody, every single person who misses those old school vibes, Insurgency Sandstorm is a must pick up. It's on console and it's on PC. And even though I always hear that console's a little bit rough to control from time to time, it's not the most insanely enjoyable experience. At the end of the day, it's still good because you don't have diverse PC players. If it was crossplay, it would be a disaster. I don't think any console player would want to go ahead and play the game, but as long as console can play with console and PC plays with PC, this experience is just simply outstanding, and I think everybody, like I said, who enjoys that classic feeling of COD will really enjoy this game right here. Now, of course, I will admit it is a little bit more hardcore than COD, The time to kill is extremely fast, even though in OG COD games you could kill people extremely fast. You guys remember the M16 stopping power in Call of Duty 4? Oh my goodness. And a lot of other games as well. The freaking MP40 from World at War, Every single Call of Duty game has a gun that can destroy people, but every gun across the board in Insurgency Sandstorm destroys. Even the shotguns. I mean, the shotguns in this game are very, very, very realistic. They literally will beam you halfway across the map. It's kind of insane, but again, this game does take after realism a little bit more. Insurgency Sandstorm, to me personally, is a mix of a milsim and, a Call of Duty arcade experience. Except the milsim vibes aren't as intense as other milsims, like Squad or, Arma or Hell Let Loose. It's not as intense because, you aren't locked up and you feel like you can't move or maneuver or engage. Like I said, this takes tactical milsim features and implement it into an environment where you want to engage, you want to push and play OBJ and get kills and get bodies and play almost like an arena shooter. Think arena shooter mixed with mixed with a milsim. It's very weird. I get it. I know. You hear these words and you're like, I don't know, man. I'm a Call of Duty player. I like arcade shooters and stuff of that sort. So this doesn't really sound like it's for me. But like I said, the environment of this game, even though it might sound a little funky, it's just outstanding. And I don't think there's been one person that I've told to pick up this game that I know personally that has not enjoyed the overall experience. I'm talking about people who despise milsims. I couldn't get any of my friends to touch a milsim, even if it was like their life depended on it. And they just absolutely adore Insurgency Sandstorm because it has that charm to it. The game is very serious. The atmosphere is almost creepy at times. And the community, I guess, kind of changes the atmosphere because they're all freaking hilarious, except for some of them. Some people just can't help but, throw racism around all the frickin' time and just do really annoying things on the mic. But still, the overall community for Insurgency is hilarious. That's a huge buying point for this game right here is the community. I'm being so serious with you guys. They really help this game tug along. And it's a lot of friendly guys out there who are willing to help you with the ropes of this game and also squad up with you and just have really funny, engaging moments. Along with proximity chat, you can chat up with the enemies, around your proximity as well. I have everybody muted for gameplay purposes, obviously, because, I want to put this on a YouTube video. But 9 times out of 10, you hear people beefing with one another on, different teams all the frickin' time. And it's awesome. But, besides that, back to the atmosphere, it takes itself very serious without losing that gameplay aspect. It's exactly what I loved out of OG Call of Duty back in the day. Games like Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1. You know, the visuals, very real, gritty. It felt like war. Your characters, you know, nobody was running around with really insane skins just yet. And again, you know, I understand that's just popular nowadays, and I accepted that. But back in the day, you know, you didn't really have that. Everything looked pretty real, pretty gritty. But at the same time, just because it looked real and gritty doesn't mean the gameplay was going to resemble that as well. It was still arcadey and fun, and that was the best part about COD. And that's what this game offers as well, even though it does have some more realistic features than Call of Duty. At the end of the day, it's not like a straight-up mill sim where you're going to be sitting with your squad and doing, you know, squad orders and playing OBJ that way. I mean, sometimes in a match of squad, you can go half the game without even finding contact because, you know, you're too busy doing other things to help your squad win the overall game. This isn't like that, okay? It's not like that even in the slightest. It has some realism aspects, but, you know, regardless, it's still an arcade shooter. You can run and gun, you can maneuver the map, you can find engagements all the time, and that's the goal of the overall game. And I really appreciate that. It gives me, like I said, those really classic OG vibes. And the best part about it is the fact that it's not sweaty whatsoever. Yes, there are a handful of competitive players that enjoy this game. I'll be honest, there are. But I would say the casual audience severely outweighs the sweaty audience when it comes to Insurgency Sandstorm, and that is a massive selling point for a lot of people, including my friends who, like I said, I was able to get them to enjoy this experience, surprising enough since they hate milsim so much. But just the pure casual aspect of the game really is a, you know, great point for a lot of people. A lot of players out there are just simply tired of competing in FPS shooters. And I get it, you know? It's tiring because back in the day, yeah, people were still competitive. You still got your matches that were sweaty. People wanted to go for streaks in COD, right? It's always been that since the beginning of time. But because of the matchmaking back then, it was a little bit more variety between your matches compared to current date where every single game is a tournament. And people are tired of that mindset. But that's what FPS games have, you know, evolved to. If you really think about it, every single game now has like a major league sport to it. It's insane. Back in the day, the MLG scenes were underground, and I loved when that was the case because the main games were still designed around the casual aspect. And then if people wanted to take it, you know, to a competitive mindset, they can do so as well. But now these big corporations, the publishers, are taking these competitive mindsets, automatically implementing them into the game from the foundation, and right out the gate they have these massive tournaments always going on. You know, the whole game is revolved around competitive. Don't worry about Insurgency Sandstorm. It's not. The game is casual. It's made for casual players, and that's how it's always going to be. This game has popped off many of times, the name has spread many of times, and it always goes back to the same exact way of just fun, casual play. But ladies and gentlemen, seriously, if you're tired of new-gen Call of Duty, if you're tired of the sweating, if you're tired of how, you know, Call of Duty looks nowadays and, you know, what demographic they're hunting down, you know, obviously it looks like they're kind of going more towards the Fortnite crowd instead of, you know, how it used to be back in the day. If that's just not your style anymore, which I understand, give this game a try. Seriously, I would not tell you otherwise. This game is phenomenal. I've been playing Insurgency since the very first game they've ever launched. And it's always been a game that I, you know, casually hop back into. Obviously not every single day, but it's one of those games that, you know, you could take a month break, a couple month break, play some other stuff, and then when you're craving that itch, man, you know, hopping back into it never gets old, you know, never gets old. Between the different game modes that you can play, the variety and class setups, and just the enjoyment with the community themselves. You know, the community, like I said, is a big selling factor of this game too. It never gets old. Never. Like, this game is probably going to live on for ages. I can't imagine it going away because it's a very unique style of game, and it's an addicting one as well. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to go ahead and leave a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I do that pretty much daily as well over on Kick. You guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. That stream usually goes live around 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested, we do indeed do open lobbies over there as well. So all you got to do is just go down to the chat, ask me for my ID, no matter what game I'm playing. Insurgency Sandstorm, Battlefield, Call of Duty, you know, Helldivers 2. We've been trying to have a little bit more variety over on there. No matter what game it is, if it's crossplay, you know, if you're on PC, you know, you can always squad in. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.